They must call it. They don't have an option. The states meet. Now, the Congress does say whether it's the state legislatures or a committee that put together by the state. But anyway, it's basically the same because the state legislators would be the ones to put forth the committee that would go to the convention. And again, just like with Congress, it has to be ratified by any amendment has to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. Again, 38 states. Or ratified by a convention in 38 states. And after the states propose, debate, and vote upon the proposed amendments, Congress has no authority to stop the process. The President has no veto power. By calling a convention of states, we can stop the federal spending and debt spree, the power grabs of the federal courts, and other misuse of the federal power. The current situation we have in our nation today is precisely what the founders feared. And they gave us a solution we have an obligation to use. We're approaching a crossroads. One path leads to the escalating power of an irresponsible centralized government, which is ultimately going to result in the financial ruin of generations of Americans, and the other path will lead to the restoration of liberty. Now, there have been over 400 applications from state legislatures for an Article 5 convention in the history of our republic. Yet, no Article 5 proposal has been able to get 2/3 of the states needed to apply. We believe it's because there has never been enough momentum behind any single amendment. For instance, one state may really be pressing for a balanced budget amendment, and other states are more interested in term limits, so they just don't get together. So they don't get the 2/3 states majority. Two goals separate our plan, the Convention of States project plan, from all other Article 5 tribes. Our project calls, wow, this thing is something. It's going the wrong way, folks. Okay. What? Can you guys get me to that?
1 second.
This little rotary thing it's not going backward, going forward. Keep going back. That's going forward. I don't know why.
Sir.
Forward. No, that's the last. That's the last slide. You can bring me back. Okay. Great. Okay, where was it? Again, the other ones failed. Our approach is different. Our project calls for a convention to address a single subject rather than a single amendment. And that subject is shown on that slide, limiting the power and jurisdiction of the federal government. That means it would allow only those amendments that are germane to that subject to be considered. This will also allow the states to be unified in their application, even some state legislators want a balanced budget amendment. Another one, term limits. They can all submit applications limiting the power and jurisdiction of the federal government. This will give the states the greatest chance of success because Congress must call a convention if 34 states submit identical or near identical applications. Once called, the delegates will be able to debate and impose a complete package of restraints on the muscle of power by all branches of the federal government. And here are just a few examples of the topics that could be proposed. Let's hope it goes. There you go. Now, those opposed to the idea of such a convention exist in both major parties. Some of their contentions are, this will open the door for a runaway convention, whereby delegates will completely rewrite the Constitution. My assistant, hopefully, will answer this scare tactic.
But what about a runaway convention? Let's get a reality check. Like constitutional law scholar Robert G. Nagelson says, there are far more political and legal constraints on a runaway convention than on a runaway Congress. The convention delegates, also called commissioners, are bound to the will of their state legislatures. If they don't vote as their states demand, they get recalled and might get sent to prison. Furthermore, a full 3/4 of the state legislatures, we're talking 38 state legislatures, must ratify each and every amendment in order for it to become part of the U.S. Constitution. Even Alexander Hamilton and Abraham Lincoln, who favored national government, emphasized that Article 5 gives states authority over the national government. Hamilton writes that national rulers have no option upon the subject. The words of Article 5 are peremptory. Congress shall call a convention. And Lincoln says the convention mode seems preferable in that it allows amendments to originate with the people themselves. Article 5 Convention of the States is a safe route to stopping federal overreach.
The success of a convention of states depends directly on the American citizen. This plan is not only simple, it's realistic. Here it is. Again, the convention, there's the purpose of the convention. What we plan to do and what we are doing. The 40 states that we are building a political operation in have approximately 4,000 state house districts. Our goal is to have an operation going in at least 3,000 of those state house districts. We need to have 3,000 district captains who will organize at least 100 people in each district to contact those state legislators to support a convention of states and turn out at least 25 people per district at legislative hearings, normally in Austin. The project is rapidly building not only a staff, but is networking with like-minded coalition members across the country. Here are our national Texas leaders. Mark Meckler. Has anybody ever heard of Mark Meckler? Yes, yes. Who is it? Mark Meckler was the co-founder of Tea Party Patriots, which is probably the largest national Tea Party organization in the country today. Michael Faust, he is the founder of the Homeschool Legal Defense Association. As such, he brings with him over 30 years of grassroots leadership and activism in all 50 states. Eric O'Keefe was the lead organizer for the term limits movement that resulted in 23 states passing ballot initiatives to that effect. And what we're talking about here is initiative or referendum rights. Unfortunately, Texas has no initiative or referendum rights. And out out of the 23 states that have term limits, they did it through initiative or referendum. They let the people decide. Now let's go to Texas. We have Tamara Colbert out of Dallas. She's a senior level public relations and media executive who has worked in 70 countries around the world in public relations, freelance news, and documentary production. Tom Dowdy is kind of a guy like us. He's a retired GTE worker, a volunteer of the Civil Air Patrol, and a member of the Fort Worth 9/11 group. This is Tom's first time to get actively involved with a cause. Now, Longview is the biggest city I've been in Deep East Texas. You guys have 2 state representatives. So you have 2 House districts, District 7 and District 9. Unfortunately, we do not have a District 7 captain. For those of you who would like to take the cause, please, we'd love to have you after this meeting, after this presentation. Please get with me. I'll get your name up to the state leaders. I'll tell you I'll tell everybody how to volunteer. But we really need someone for District 7. But District 9, his name is Jeff Croyer, and we are blessed to have Jeff. Jeff, stand up. Jeff is your District 9. Jeff will be taken. If you want to volunteer, please go talk to Jeff after the meeting. I'll also tell you how to do it online, but it'd be great to have a correspondence with them, communication with them. You can also help me on the question. Oh, the only other one I didn't get was our legislative liaison, Martin Harry. I don't know much about Martin except that he's camped out in Austin. He's at the Capitol every day, pounding on representatives and senators' doors, trying to get them to listen to back a convention of states for Texas. Since our inception in August of 2013, not that long ago, we have come a long, long way, and the movement is still building. Some of the things. On December 7th of last year, we had 100 lawmakers descend upon Mount Vernon to discuss a convention of states. In fact, it really was a convention of states. They talked about what rules they would go under, how they would handle such a convention. On March 10th, Georgia, the state of Georgia, became the first state to pass our application. It went through the House and it went through the Senate. The governor signed it. So we have one. We had it. Now, I have to update this slide. The great news is both Alaska and Florida have joined Georgia as states number 2 and 3 to pass our cost application. So that's 3 down, 31 to go.